Good morning and welcome to the show. I have a very special guest this morning. You may recognize her from a location shoot that we did recently. I have Dr. Tara Griffin from Emerald Coast Dental Sleep Medicine. Now, Dr. Griffin, when we first met and my producer told me that we were going to visit your practice, I thought by the title, by the name of your practice, that you put people to sleep to work on their teeth. But that's not the case, is it?
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of patients think that when they hear the name of the business.
Yeah.
But however, we actually treat patients for snoring and sleep apnea with dental appliances.
And that's amazing stuff to me, because the way you had explained it to me previously, the layman that I am, that you could actually change the shape of people's palates so they can sleep better and actually cure sleep apnea.
We can in many patients, most patients actually. If they are a candidate for that type of procedure, we can get to the root causes of what causes the sleep apnea and the snoring and actually correct it.
Now, can you show me how you do that? We looked at a few models, but I know
Yes.
you have one here. Now, what is that little doohickey called? And
This is called
it's not a doohickey, I'm sure. I'm sure you have a better name for it than doohickey.
Yes, this is called a DNA appliance, like daytime, nighttime appliance. It's
Okay.
actually worn in the early evening while you sleep at night, and it looks like a specialized orthodontic retainer after you
Yeah.
have braces, but it has a little more bells and whistles on it. So it is corrective. You wear it in the early evening and while you sleep. It's completely painless, no injections, no pain, and it remodels the teeth, aligns them better, and the airway as well. And so you also get a benefit facially as far as your cosmetic benefit that comes out of this as well, because when you straighten your teeth and enlarge your airway, the outside is going to change, and so it's going to help heighten your cheekbones, help with the extra skin under the chin here.
I can use some of that.
Yeah. So there are a lot of benefits to this. It can treat a lot of different things for people, but the main reason that we use it for treatment of snoring and sleep apnea for patients, because that has severe health consequences.
Now, you said it gets rid of, it'll actually change your facial features.
Yes.
And give you a more symmetric look, I would
It
imagine.
is. It creates symmetry.
Yeah, along with the obvious benefits of being able to breathe easier.
Yes.
And from what I'm seeing is like that kind of, like braces, it kind of changes the shape of the bones, doesn't it?
It does.
Now, is there a point in your life where you're too old for that? Are my bones too old for something like that?
That has been a controversy for a long time, and now evidence-based science proves that not only children can develop, but adults develop as well until they're 80 to 90 years old.
Wow.
My oldest patient that I've treated was 76 years old, and he developed perfectly. And he had underlying sleep concerns, TMJ concerns. We were able to correct him, stabilize him, and then he wanted to do some cosmetic work after that, so he had a complete makeover, and it's changed his life.
Wow, I want to talk more about this. It's very fascinating stuff for me, but we've got to run off to the local weather. So after the weather, I'm going to drill down, if you'll pardon the pun, talking to a dentist. Never say drill to a dentist. We'll drill down into the subject a little more and find out who are good candidates for it, how do you pay for it, the whole deal.
Great, thanks.
We'll be right back after your local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm. westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dr. Tara Griffin, and we're talking about dental appliances and how it can cure, am I saying that right? Cure.
In many cases,
sleep
yes.
apnea.
Yes.
Now, you had shown us this dental appliance, how you wear this and and you did explain in a previous segment how that can kind of change the structure
Yes.
of your breathing.
Yes.
And the mechanics of your breathing so you can breathe easier. This seems like a pretty pricey thing. Is it covered by insurance or?
It is covered by most medical insurance. Dental insurance does not cover this type of procedure because this is a dental appliance to treat a medical condition. So therefore, medical insurance helps to cover this depending on your policies. And we do all of that research for you before you even get started. We pre-authorize. And actually, out of all the carriers, TRICARE is one of the best that we work with.
Oh, okay.
So
if
you being
any of
retired
my
military,
any
yes.
of my retired military friends, and I know you're out there, have problems sleeping or snoring.
Yes.
I mean, if you get out of the military, that's like a 50% disability if you have sleep apnea.
Yes,
And this can actually cure that.
absolutely.
I would imagine it'd be a great interest by the military in something like this.
There is. We've had several meetings actually
Yeah.
in regards to implementing this into their program.
I mean, because really, how expensive of a proposition is it to give veterans, 50% disability because they'll probably won't live as long because they have sleep apnea.
That's
right?
the thing. If you're not being treated, you have severe sleep apnea, you could actually be taking 10 years off of your life. Not to mention your quality of life on a daily basis. So not only are we helping to extend your life, but we're making the quality of it better while you are alive. Some people feel so miserable that they would be happy to die tomorrow because they're just miserable and their quality of life is so bad. But we can help to change that for people.
What's been the response to this? Do people know about it? Or?
People are learning about it. We're actually reaching out to help educate the physicians in our area because that's where it starts. They need to screen and diagnose, and we can help treat, and we have a program to help with that as well. So we are really reaching out to physicians as well as everyone, like watching your show, where you do other marketing, to help spread the word because this is such a new revolutionary thing that we have in our area.
How new is it?
This appliance has been around almost 10 years. But it has not been in our area available to patients. I introduced it 3 years ago here locally.
Here to the Gulf Coast.
Yes.
That's amazing stuff. So how do we get in touch with you? I mean, is everybody a good candidate? I mean,
we screen, we do a consultation to determine if you're a good candidate. And if you're not a good candidate for this, we have other appliances that may work for you as well. And so we go through a consult to see if you're a good candidate. It's normally, a 20 to 30 minute consult with me.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today and getting us smart on this. And you're going to be back as a regular from now on, 5 minutes weekly, to give us some tips on sleep apnea and just your general health.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, I look forward to that too. Dr. Tara Griffin, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we'll see you next week.
Great. Thanks.
And we'll be right back after your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hi, I'm David Lovett, and this is your Mad Hatter Minute. Today we're going to talk about fuel economy. Gas mileage, how to get better gas mileage. And it's real simple and a real simple thing that you can do at home. There's actually two main factors that go into your gas mileage. One is a clean air filter, and two is proper tire pressure. Your air filter is the first filter on your vehicle. Takes air, fuel, and fire to make your vehicle go. Air comes in through the intake. There's a filter to stop any type of dirt and debris and trash and bugs from getting inside your motor. That filter gets clogged, it gets dirty, and it can't breathe. And when the engine's struggling to breathe, it has to increase the gas ratio, which throws your your air to gas ratios off, and your vehicle doesn't want to run right, and you start losing gas pressure. Check your air filter every time you have your oil change. Have your oil changed every 3,000 miles, and just pop the hood and have your service technician check that air filter. If it's dirty, change it. The second thing that affects gas mileage most is your tire pressure. Look at your tire pressure. You can get a tire gauge, or you can stop at any service station, and they can test your tire pressure. Typically, tire pressure on a passenger vehicle runs roughly right around 35 pounds. If you really want to know the exact pressure, look at your tires. On the tire itself, it'll say 35, max 35 psi. That's the maximum amount of pressure you want to have in your tires. And if you also want to know, you can look on your car, on the pillar, on the inside of the front door. It'll also give the tire pressure. That's the pressure you need to be running at. Running too low makes the tire flat, and it creates drag. So it takes more to start your vehicle running. And the harder it is to run, the more gas that you're going to burn. This has been David Lovett, and this has been your Mad Hatter Minute.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial, and we're going to ask her a few questions about what we should do to protect ourselves if the unthinkable happens. In the news, there's been some tragedy in the news lately with the whole Robin Williams thing. I mean, who saw that one coming?
Oh, it's very shocking, very sad.
It really is very sad and shocking. Unlike Robin Williams, most of us don't have those type of assets, but what can we do to protect ourselves from the unexpected happening? I mean, maybe you have some resources, maybe you have some investments, and then the principal dies all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. What happens to everyone else, and how can you protect yourselves?
Well, some of my process that we do is ensuring that our clients all have, or reviewing their estate plan with them, whether they have smaller amounts of money or they have larger amounts of money. Mm-hmm. Some of it has to do with titling the assets, of how things are titled. Also, ways that you can bypass the probate process so that there's more of it left later on after.
Oh, yeah, you have taxes to worry about. And should we own things jointly with other people to avoid that?
Well, I think owning things jointly is a very common ownership, and typically it's joint tenants with rights of survivorship. So whoever the survivor is, it becomes their asset automatically and bypasses the probate process.
But that may expose you to other things too, wouldn't it?
Sure. Oftentimes we see maybe a widow who wants to put their child on the account as well with them, just so that it automatically passes to that child after their passing, and that opens them up for a lot of liabilities because that asset is then half their child's, and that child, if they were to be sued or something like that, then that money is also the kids, which was not necessarily intended in the beginning.
Now, everybody's situation is different, I suppose, just like people are different and relationships and families are different. So what you do is you'll sit down and get to know that person and what their life is like, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of times where there's mixed families
where that's very common
maybe
nowadays,
you're remarried and you have a child from a previous marriage and you intend for maybe your money to go to that child rather than your spouse's children, but if things aren't structured properly, then that can be the case to where, and I see it quite often, where the money would go to the surviving spouse and then that spouse passes away and it went to their kids. And your child's left out in the cold. And there's...
These are kind of the tough questions you ask people, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, anybody who sat down to perhaps make a will or whatever, you really have to think about second and third order effects, like what if this happens? What if something really crazy happens? Where's it going to leave everybody?
And there are some things that you can do, and a lot of banks offer what are called POD, payable on death. At our office we do what's called TOD, transfer on death, where you can designate beneficiaries for any of your investment assets, and it's automatic, goes to those beneficiaries, and then there's secondary beneficiaries after that as well. And it's an automatic process, bypasses the probate. Your IRAs bypass probate if you have designated beneficiaries on them, which you should. 401ks, annuities, life insurance policies, all of those things bypass the probate process, assuming you have a designated beneficiary on there.
You know, I was actually kind of creeping on your website the other day, and I noticed that you have a process where you kind of revisit your clients on a regular basis, which I think is very wise because, you know, people change, relationships change, you know, and if you have a stagnant portfolio, you could wind up, and something tragic happens, your assets may go to the wrong people.
Absolutely. I've seen several cases where someone was divorced and we do beneficiary reviews, pull in your 401k and take a look and remind you to look at your 401k. But I've seen several cases where the 401k was left to a previous spouse, and
so you really
don't
have
want that to happen.
No, you don't. You want to pay attention to those things. And you know, what the heck? I mean, there's also the tax ramifications of things. I think that's scary for a lot of people. You know, if you don't have a plan in place, you know, the tax man may get your assets too.
That's true. Well, there's something that are called estate taxes, which is different from federal income taxes. Estate taxes come into play if you have assets that are over $5.25 million, and your estate is everything that you own. So it's life insurance policies, it's your home, it's your checking account, it's your investments, it's everything. So if you have anything over $5.25 million, you're looking at an additional, or your heirs are looking at an additional estate tax of about 40% of anything over $5.25 million.
There's a lot to navigate when you own things and things own you, and that's why we go to people like you to help us manage that stuff. How do people get in touch with you?
They can give me a call at the office. It's 785-9614.
Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial, thank you so much for getting us smart on estates. And we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Lee Fraser from the Mole Hole, which is a little gift shop that I have passed by 100 times.
You need to come in.
I do. I need to walk in there one day and see what you've got going on in there. Now, Linda, how long has the Mole Hole been there?
We have been in business 32 years this year. We were in the mall almost 7 years, and then we moved over to Gilberg's Plaza.
Wow.
And so we are pretty well.
So the Mole Hole is a gift shop, basically.
The gift shop, right.
And you've been in business 32 years, so you obviously have been relatively successful if you've survived that long. I mean,
Well, it takes a lot of good people working for us. We have a great crew. I've always had really good people and a lot of prayer. And you know, we evolve. You can't stay the same. You always have to go with trends and what people want, especially women. We're mostly women.
I would think so. Mostly women would go to gift shops. I don't know many guys. I mean, unless you're...
well, we get guys who are coming in for women.
Well, yeah, like the day before Valentine's Day.
Very, very
guys
busy
like
time.
me go rushing in there looking for stuff.
Anniversaries, birthdays.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of really nice men coming in and taking care of their sweethearts.
That's nice.
So.
And now the types of gifts that you have are what? What would I find if I'm like that?
Right now, we mostly are into handbags, Vera Bradley, Spartina, and we also have Bagalini, which is
Who to what?
Bagalini.
That's like my favorite Italian dish. I love a
That's
big
right.
steaming plate of Bagalini. No,
They were started by a couple of flight attendants who decided they wanted something that was lightweight, easy to travel. And that's
what is Bagalini? I don't.
It's a handbag.
It's a handbag called Bagalini.
Totes, carry-on. And they knew exactly what they wanted, and they started a really very successful company, which they have since sold for $22 million.
Well, you know, flight attendants are always on the go, so I guess they know what works and what doesn't.
Exactly. And that's the way Vera Bradley started, the handbags and accessories. They were sitting in an airport, two friends were sitting in an airport and thought, you know, there must be a better way than just black luggage. So they went home and started in their basement.
Wow.
And 32 years ago, that's how they got started.
Gotta love those stories.
I know. Great American stories.
Yeah, we have to run off to a break, and I see you've brought some stuff with you. But on the other side of the break, let's look at some of the things that we might find at the Mole Hole over there in Gilbert Plaza in Panama City. And we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Linda Lee Fraser from the Mole Hole. Did I say your name right?
You did.
It's Fraser,
You did.
not Fraser.
Right.
Fraser. And we've got some really cool stuff here. Vera Bradley, is that what we're looking at here?
Yes.
Now, it's back to school.
Back to
and I'm looking at this. Now, I had boys. I had sons.
I did too.
But if I had a little girl, I know she'd totally dig this as a backpack.
Called Ziggy Zinhas. Isn't that fun?
What's it called?
Ziggy Zinhas.
Ziggy Zinhas. And this is a cool little backpack.
Yeah, and it's this one is
well, this is another backpack,
pink swirls, right? And
All right.
it's called Lighten Up. Feel how light it is.
It is really
Once they
light.
get my granddaughter was showing me how much stuff they have to put in. And so you want it to be lightweight to start.
And really distinctive.
Very distinctive.
I mean, it's not going to get mixed up with someone else's backpack.
Right, right. Well, there are a lot of young ladies who are loving Vera Bradley, and this is the time of year.
Well, maybe it will get mixed up with someone else's because it is a popular brand.
Yeah.
You know, when my boys were little, you know, their backpacks were pretty simple affairs. I mean, you know, black, gray, silver, whatever.
Exactly,
you know, but
right.
I guess for girls, you got to spice it up a
love
little
it.
bit. Huh?
They love it.
Now, what all is this other
This
stuff?
is called
here?
African Violets. This is a lunch bag, and good to go with their backpack.
So you can have an African violet lunch
Yes,
box.
and they take all their.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's for lunch?
What's
paper.
for lunch?
Yeah,
Paper.
that's lots of
And,
fiber. All right. So this is basically your little lunch bag that
Right.
can go in your little Vera.
And your little Vera.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. How cool is that?
And then when they're going off to school, if they're going off to college, they love the duffels. They have a large and small duffel.
Okay, so back to school. You can go back to school in style. If you're a little kid, grade
Yes.
school. If
Yes.
you're a big girl and you're
Yes.
going off to college, you can have that.
And then they have the zip ID that they need to put their information in,
Wow.
and they can carry that.
You know, being a girl must be tough.
Oh,
all that,
yeah,
all
yeah,
that
lots of
accessorizing.
Lots of decisions to make. And then you also can have
Yeah.
a place for your phone. This is called an all-in-one.
May I? Look at this. So this is even a little phone carrier.
And a wallet.
Wow.
You've got all in one, so you can have everything you need
Wow.
in one place.
I'm so glad I had boys. I would have never survived
Hey, look
this.
at that. I know, and it is fun. We just love helping these little girls come in and choose their color, and they're always fun names. I don't know who sits around.
So you're back at school. Bring your little girl to the Mole Hole
Yes.
and get her the whole spiel here. Get
That's
her the
right. Handbags.
handbags. Now, is there stuff there for mom too? I would imagine.
Oh, always.
Oh,
the moms love
naturally,
it.
yeah.
It's kind of an age range from 2 to 90. 92.
2 to 92.
That's right.
So you can accessorize anybody. Now I'm looking over here.
Yes.
You've got some FSU swag.
We have a lot
Yeah.
of collegiate, so and not just FSU. We have
Others. That other school.
We have Gators, and we have Auburn and Alabama, and we throw in some LSU, which
Very
that's our
nice.
school.
Okay, because you're from that area,
That's
right?
right.
Originally.
So, we have something for everybody, we think.
I think it's great stuff. I mean, you could get you could be stylish, especially if you're a freshman. You're going to show up with style
That's
on
right,
campus.
that's
So bring your
right.
daughter there. And
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun line. We even have jewelry to match. If you were scarves, it's kind of a total look.
One-stop
It's
shopping for all
one-stop
of your
shopping.
back-to-school needs.
That's right.
If you want to do it in style. Linda Lee Fraser from the Mole Hole, thank you very much for coming on the show. And again, how can we find you?
We're at Gilbert's Plaza, Highway 77. We're kind of behind that Burger King and Olive Garden, and in the same center with Red Elephant.
Well, continued success to you, and thank you so much for keeping our kids stylish.
Thank you for having us.
And we'll
Yes.
see you next time.